Today I'm here with Derek Matthews, one of the young guns out of Gulfport, Mississippi, right?
Yes, sir.
Man,
yes,
I'm so
sir.
happy to have you here today, man. It's a pleasure and an honor. I mean, you're like an upcoming legend in the business, man. 25 years old?
25 years old.
25 years old, man, and did over 100 applications in, 5-6 weeks' time, your first AEP.
Yes, sir.
That's incredible, man. Do you know how amazing that is? That is huge. And is it true you've never even sold insurance before in your life?
No sales experience prior to
No
this
sales experience
whatsoever.
Okay, now I know you've knocked on doors to do. Because you tell us a little bit about yourself. Because you knocked on doors doing what?
Yeah, so
you did knock on some doors,
yeah,
but it wasn't for
I
sales.
did. So before this, I was right when I turned 21. Actually, about a month after my 21st birthday, I got hired on at the Gulfport Police Department.
Really?
In South Mississippi.
So you went to the police academy and everything.
I did. I went to the police
academy.
What was that like? It was tough. It was tough. They push you.
Yeah.
You. But it was a good experience.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So what got you to become a police officer?
It's just something I've always wanted to do ever since I've been real little. And then I have an older brother who, at the time I turned 21, he had already been at the police department for several years.
Yeah.
So I did a couple ride-alongs with him, and then I knew after doing the ride-alongs that's where I wanted to go.
Yeah. Wow. What was the turning point that you said, you know what, I wanted to make a change? I was telling you earlier about your dad, a couple of years ago, because your dad's is in the business, and he got on a call. Your dad, had an incredible year a couple of years ago and was sharing his secret sauce. He says, but my real passion right now is to see my two boys get out of being a police officer. And the tears in his eyes on that call, and he said, Tony, can you get on the phone with my son? I said, absolutely. You remember that call we had there?
I do.
Would you share a little bit about what was going on and, what it was like being a police officer and what that was all about?
Yeah, so like I said, I got hired on at Gulfport at 21 years old. I did right at 5 years with them. I worked in the patrol division for the first couple years, mostly on night shift.
Okay.
So, and then I worked every other weekend. That was just a schedule. So as you can imagine, you're working 2 weekends out the month. If it falls on a Christmas, if it falls on a Thanksgiving, right at the 5 years I was there, I think I only had one Christmas morning that I was home.
Wow.
Every other Christmas I was working. No New Year's Eves.
What?
One or two at the most Thanksgivings home.
Okay.
I did that. I worked in patrol for several years, and then I got assigned to a violent crimes unit. It was a four-man unit, and our job was to combat violent crimes, shootings, murders, armed robberies. And we worked a pretty tough schedule. We worked Tuesday through Saturday, so working every Friday, Saturday night. We didn't get off till about 2 or 3 in the morning. You never knew when you was going to get off. Some nights we would work till 4 or 5 in the morning. And even when I was off, we were on call 24/7. If they had something going in the city, we got called in. It didn't matter if it was on New Year's Eve or Christmas. So I did that for about a year, and then I was promoted to a narcotics detective, where I was reassigned to the narcotics division. And that's where I finished out my time with Gulfport. And again, that's an on-call position, so it was a Monday through Friday schedule.
Right.
But we worked evenings. We worked a lot of weekends. We worked if any major event was going on, Mardi Gras, any time like that, which is big in the South, we're always working.
Wow.
And we're always on call, so you never ultimately know your schedule. So after 5 years of that, missing countless family events, like I said, missing most Christmases, most Thanksgivings, all New Year's Eves, birthdays, not being able to take vacations that I necessarily wanted because, manpower, you get denied and stuff like that. Like I said, I watched my dad pursue a successful career in the Medicare industry specifically.
Right.
And he'd been trying to get me to switch over for a little while, and then this past year, you called me, talked to me for a little bit, and here we are.
Yeah, well, let's go back a little bit. We're going to get a little bit more to that.
Yeah.
Your toughest moment being a police officer. Are you okay to talk about that?
Yeah.
Well, tell me about that.
Well,
what was that moment like that was life-changing for you in terms of being a police or detective?
Well, there's a couple, for one, the family life is terrible. as I explained, and then you see stuff in law enforcement that people shouldn't have to see.
Well, I mean, give me an example.
Like a 3 or 4 year old drowning. You're the first on scene to a
Wow.
3 or 4 year old kid drowning. I can remember 3 or 4 that I went to.
3 or 4 kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
So shootings, kids getting shot. I mean, that was it became normal to see that,
Really?
as crazy as it sounds, that was, that's what you saw. And it's just, I knew that's not what I wanted for the next 26 or 30 years of my life.
Right.
And at the end of it, to look up and, ultimately have nothing at the end to show for it,
Yeah. Wow. So you made this transition. I remember the phone call. And I told you about your dad.
Mm-hmm.
He got in front of the group and made a speech and broke down in tears. And he says, "Man, I just talk to my son." And I remember that call. Do you remember that call we had
I
together?
remember
Tell me about that call.
So I remember I was at home that day.
Yeah.
You called me. You talked to me a little bit about the business. Told me what kind of opportunities were in the business. Told me what you offered, and that you ultimately told me that you were going to be there to guide me and mentor me, and make sure that I had no choice but to succeed as long as I did what you told me to do.
Right.
And after that phone call, I started the process and never looked back.
Now, I know there was some hesitation, right?
There was.
What was your hold up? I mean, I know you don't, I mean, you're a police officer. There's not many things you fear.
Yeah.
What was holding you back, though?
Well, for one, I've never been in this type of business before.
Right.
I knew what I had at the police department.
Right.
It was stable, even though looking back on it now, all it was a paycheck. All it was punching a clock.
Right.
It was ultimately doing nothing to better my future or my family's future. Even though I enjoyed my time there, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I don't regret doing any of that. I love my time there. It was just getting to a point where it was time for me to make a move.
Plus, the things that changed in the environment for you guys over the last couple of years.
It's changed.
Yeah.
It's changed a lot just in the 5 years that I was in it.
Right.
And I hear stories of the guys that's been in it 25 years and how crazy it's changed. And it's just it's not as honorable as a profession as it was 20 years ago. There's still a lot of good people out there, and a lot of good people that love the police and they love what you're doing. But a lot of times they're getting overshadowed by the small percentage that are causing an uproar. Right. Over certain events.
Yeah, I understand. So you got started, and it was what was your? Because you had no insurance experience.
No insurance.
You didn't even have a license. Never sold before. So only time you knocked on the door was to deliver a warrant.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that first day. What was your first day? It wasn't that long ago.
Nope. So I like I said, I started getting my license, getting contracted at the end of the summer.
Okay.
And my goal was to be ready by October 15th.
Okay. Why October 15th?
That's the start of the annual enrollment period.
Good.
Runs through,
for Medicare.
Yep,
Good.
runs
Okay.
through December 7th for us. And boy, did I cut it close. October the 14th, I was ready to go.
Wow. Okay. So the day before AEP.
Yeah.
Wow. You got license, got your writing number, and you went to work. Tell us what happened after that first day.
My goal, I originally took 2 weeks off from the police department for the first 2 weeks of AEP.
Okay.
My goal was to write 5 apps. I was going to ride with my dad for a little bit, just see what it was about. My goal was to write 5 apps. Well, I hit that the first day, and then I wanted to write 15 apps.
So your dad field trained you.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes. So
what was that like?
It was good, getting to see what he does, what he's been trying to get me to do, and then I was able to see firsthand the opportunity that's in it.
Right. So your goal was sell with 5.
5 for 2 weeks.
And what'd you do?
For the first 2 weeks, I wrote over 40.
What? 40 apps. Your goal was 5, and you did over 40 apps. That's incredible. How did you do that?
Well, I think a lot of it's a misconception. I thought this was going to be. We call it no sales experience, but really, I don't feel like I'm selling. I'm going out there and helping seniors. All I'm doing is showing them their options that they qualify for and treating them right.
Right.
Spending that extra time with them, building their trust, building that relationship. All I'm doing is enrolling them into what they need to be enrolled in. So, that's what I love about it. I'm not selling people.
Yeah. So it didn't bother your seniors that they got grandkids your age?
No, actually,
You being young, was that an asset?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Some people, there is some, cons to being so young in the industry, such as seniors. They automatically have a little bit of trust for somebody that's around their same age.
Right.
But but as far as being my age and in my 20s, I think it can outweigh that con. You're able to go out there. You're hungry. You got no bad habits. I know we had talked about this before, but the technology's taken over the insurance game. Yep. So we grew up in that era.
Right.
And then the seniors nowadays that are especially aging into Medicare, they're becoming more tech savvy.
Right.
So they, you can connect with them on that level. Mm-hmm. As long as you treat them right and treat them like they're your family, you're going to be okay.
That's awesome. So what was your final tally for your first AEP?
My first tally was final tally was right at 100 apps.
Wow, great job.
Thank you.
And how many weeks time?
Well, that's a 7-week period, but keep in mind I was still at the police department.
So you were part-time.
I was part-time, so I probably only worked about 3 weeks.
Okay.
If you put it, and none of that was consecutive. You have to put 2 weeks at first, and then you have to put a day here, a day there, added up to about 3 weeks.
Wow. So you helped 100 people. You helped change and save their life, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
What was your greatest joy about that?
You
got a specific client that you can talk about that go, wow, I'm making a difference.
Well, you run into it's surprising. You run into a lot of people that they don't know what they have.
Right.
And I have several clients that they call me once a week, not to ask questions about the plan. They just they're just asking how I'm doing.
That's awesome.
If you build that relationship with them, they're going to be not your client for life. You know?
That's great. So any specific client you remember that you left that house and said, wow, really did a good thing for you?
Well, Miss Cunningham, she's a neighboring county for me. I remember it. We sat down right there, and she was on Medicare. She had no idea what she qualified for. Wow. She was put on a completely wrong plan. We were able to get her a food card every month.
Wow.
That she was not getting.
What's that?
It's a card that these companies offers that if you meet certain qualifications, you're able to buy healthy foods, over-the-counter products like ibuprofen, Tylenol, your medicines.
Really? Wow.
And then sometimes you can even use it to pay utility bills and stuff like that. And in today's time, these seniors are living on a fixed income. Right. $75 or $100 means everything to them.
Absolutely.
So when we did that enrollment and she knew what she was getting, she stood up, gave me a big hug, and that's what I'm talking about. She calls me once a week till this day.
Wow.
And I call her every so often, check in on her.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. So Medicare Advantage, I know it's your first product in insurance you've ever sold. What do you love most about offering Medicare Advantage to your clients?
But besides helping the client, what I love the most about it is number one, the flexibility.
Okay.
For me, I'm able to build my own, so to speak, business.
Right.
The money's incredible. The renewals are unbelievable.
Right.
So it's an industry that can change your future.
Right. But you like the aspect that, as I said earlier, you're able to go out there and help people out.
Absolutely.
Something that it's not a luxury item. It's a necessity.
Right.
It's life or death.
Yeah.
You're able to change and save a life in many cases, right?
Absolutely.
Changed her life. So, like you said, that lady was in a wrong plan.
Absolutely.
But then on the other side of it, we're compensated very well.
Absolutely.
And you made, correct me if I'm wrong, but you made more in that part-time in that 6-7 week period than you did in a full year as a police officer?
That's correct. And that full year as a police officer is with a lot of overtime built in, working a lot of extra shifts.
Life on the line every day.
That's right.
Seeing things average people don't even comprehend.
Right.
That's amazing. So you made more in 6-7 weeks than you did in a full year working overtime.
That's right.
And missing holidays and weekends. That's incredible.
And that allowed me to actually leave the police department at the end of last year. December 31st was my last day there. So
Wow.
it enabled me to jump over into this full time, and that it's a great opportunity.
What do you now that you're in this business? What does your future look like, in your opinion?
Well, I want to continue what I'm doing, continue hitting goals, continue setting goals, but I also want to build an agency.
Right.
Pay it forward, so to speak, like
Right.
you did for me on that,
Right.
That you've done for me.
Right. So you have your own agency now.
I do.
Good. What's the name of your agency?
Matthews Senior Benefits.
Okay.
I'm a co-founder along with my dad.
Okay, good.
So we started.
So you're
that
training
agency.
agents now yourself, doing
We
what
are.
you did. Wow.
We are.
Okay. Wow. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So we've had several agents come on with us this past year. We have several more that's in the pipeline that are going to be coming on, and it's the same story over and over. People that were working the dead end jobs or just punching a clock. You reach out to them, you show them what this business can offer them,
Right.
and it's unbelievable at first. So you have a little bit of hesitation,
Yeah.
but they come on and do it,
Yeah.
and they never look back.
Right.
You're paying it forward to people that were in the same situation that I was, a year or two ago.
Well, reason why we're here today is about paying it forward. You said a lot about that. There's someone watching right now that's in a predicament. Could be a single mom trying to take care of kids. Could be a police officer like yourself, or a firefighter, a school teacher, or somebody that's with another insurance organization not quite happy. You're blessed. You had a good example, your father. You got to talk to me on that call.
Right.
But your father was the one really that gave you the vision of what could be and what
Right.
can be and what the reality is. What would you say to that man or woman right now that was in your shoes? And this wasn't that long ago, okay? This was back last October of 2022. I mean, you're still a baby in this business, and you've done an incredible
Right.
job. What would your advice be to them? What would you say to them?
Well, for someone that's in the same situation as me, it's time to do something for yourself, because the majority of these companies, I'm not saying that every company's like this, but most employers, you're just a number to that company.
Right.
You don't mean anything to that company.
Right.
They tell you they do, or they tell you mean stuff to them. That's false. You're just a number to them. So why put all your time in, the majority of your time, to live paycheck to paycheck? At the end of your career, look up and have nothing, maybe not even health insurance.
Right.
You haven't been able to build anything for yourself. Now you have to rely on Social Security,
Right.
and live on a fixed income.
Right.
It's not worth it.
Right.
This industry allows you to build a business for yourself. It allows you to be rewarded by helping people. It allows you to make those renewal checks that are more than likely what you're making in an entire year right now.
Yep. So with Global, you joined our organization. You're blessed that we were your first IMO, FMO, NMO, because there's thousands of them out there.
There are.
What did Global do for you? What did our company do for you to help you in being so successful in such a short period of time?
I think the biggest reason is one of the biggest reasons is yourself. There's a lot of agency directors or FMOs that they don't give out their personal cell phone number. I've seen a bunch of videos that you do. You give out your personal cell phone number. I have your personal cell phone number. I call you anytime I need, and you call me back or you answer the phone and we talk.
Right.
So that's a big factor. I know a lot of other agencies with different FMOs, they don't have that luxury.
Right.
They can't get a hold of their FMO.
Right.
They've never met their FMO.
They don't even know their name.
Right. To have you to give the leadership, the mentorship, and the guidance to somebody like me in my situation, it's invaluable, And then, to also what Global offers is, the trainings, the lead programs, the co-op dollars, the incentives, the all-inclusive paid vacation.
Right.
It's just, along with that, if you follow your program, you have no choice but
There
to
is
succeed.
a system, all right?
There is a system.
Does the system work?
The system works.
Does it work?
If you go to work and you put the work in, the system works.
It works. Okay. Well, you did a great job, Derek, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so thankful I got on that call with you back a year ago.
I am too.
You've been a blessing, dude. You really have. And I know there's somebody out there watching today that says, if he can do it, I can do it. That's all. I told people that for years. If I can do it, I'm nobody special.
Right.
You can do it.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Amen. Amen. I mean, you're just out there helping seniors. You're really educating.
That's all I'm doing.
You're just educating people. You're not really selling anything. You're just educating them and showing them what they can get and what they have and what they don't have. So how can someone that's interested in talking to you, right here today, how could they get in touch with you to talk to you further and maybe entertain an opportunity to work with you and your father?
So just like you do, my phone number is going to be right here on the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
228-209-6800. You call me anytime.
And what's the name of your firm again?
Matthews Senior Benefits.
And where are you guys out of?
We're out of South Mississippi.
Okay. What's the name of the town?
Gulfport, Mississippi.
Okay. So you're right there near the Gulf then.
Yeah, right on the Gulf.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we're, we service a broad area: Louisiana, Alabama, the coastal counties, and Mississippi.
Okay.
But we're also bringing on some agents from other states.
Really?
Across the country.
So you guys are going national.
We are.
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome.
like I say, if somebody's out there, whether they're brand new or whether they're experienced, like you said, and they're not happy where they're at, give us a call. It don't cost you nothing to talk to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much, Derek. You've been a blessing, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And much success to you in your newfound success.